Hi, everyone, and welcome to A and B Horror Movies. I'm Aaron, and today I'm very excited to be joined by Brett, the Big Schwag Wagner. Brett, welcome.
Hello.
Can't wait to chat with you today. And we also have Kevin Salvi. Kevin, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
This is going to be so much fun. So you are from President of Astronauts. As you can see behind you, there's lots of skateboard decks. They look amazing. I've got one right here, which happens to be the Leatherface double barrel shotgun design. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, it looks amazing. And I know you have partnered with Brett on this design, and that's why we have you both on today.
So
So
that
welcome.
illustration was actually done by Brett's friend Michael Toth. We just put it on the wood.
Got it.
He,
Oh,
Putting
he
it
that's
was
on the
awesome.
amazing.
wood.
So let's see, Brett, you are a actor and you are now a podcaster working with Felissa Rose on your brand new podcast, which is called Killin' Time Experience. Just want to make sure I got that right.
You got it
Congrats
right.
on
Yeah.
that. So you have been an announcer on Discovery's Monster Garage as well as Pastime on the Speed Channel, which is
Yeah.
fantastic. Our horror fans who are watching will know that you were Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake from 2003, and you also played Jesse in the Crazies remake. I love both films. You've been in countless movies. I have a few here that I just want to read through.
Yeah.
Desert Fiends, which is coming out soon. Amityville
April
Moon,
7th.
April 7th, yes. Big Freaking Rat, Bloody Ballet, The Happy Time Murders, Dances with Werewolves. How could I not mention Dances with Werewolves? That's amazing.
You,
John
you could have
dies at
not
the
you
end.
could have very
Could
easily
have
not
not,
not
but
done that.
that
But yeah.
title, come on, man, that's awesome. Let's see. You've also been in some fantastic series. We've got Weeds, Sons of Anarchy, Desperate Housewives, Nip Tuck House, and even Hannah Montana. I had to mention that one too.
When
According to
when you
IMDb, right?
yeah, no, you're right. When you've been acting for 30 years though, so if you live in LA and you're a big character guy, you're eventually gonna start accruing some numbers, as far as the shows you do, and you're gonna audition for everything. So I have been lucky enough in the first 30 years of acting that I've done a lot of stuff, and now you have to kind of change the way you look and get new headshots, and you don't go in for the
Of
same thing as that you did
course.
the first 30 years of your life. We gotta figure it out and start doing some other stuff, the older guy stuff.
Yes, of course. That makes
I
sense.
was
I
lucky enough to
love
have
your hat,
seen
by
the
the way.
Crazies on a date.
Ah,
Say that again,
well,
Kevin. What was that?
I took someone on a date to see the Crazies.
You are a good man, a smart man. The Crazies, the remake was such a it
mm,
was, I love George Romero. He's one of my, in fact, that's why I first started acting. Night of the Living Dead was the first movie I ever saw. So his version of the Crazies, which he created, was kind of a political. It wasn't my favorite movie that he's ever done, but our version that we did with part two with
Before fan, right?
yeah, with
mm,
Brett Eisenberg was Breck was such a good movie, I thought, and very underrated, and a lot of good special effects, makeup, and everything else, and
yes.
just a good story. Timothy Oliphant did a really good job. Rhoda Mitchell, everybody on there.
hmm
Toby
I just
Sells.
Yes,
Yeah.
I just rewatched it last night. It's a fantastic film. It's like a new take on the zombie subgenre. So how did you two come to work together then with this skateboard and the design from your friend Brett?
Well, I kept seeing he does a lot of good work, and he was doing some stuff with Bill
Bill
Moseley, and
Moseley.
Bill Moseley, he put
Very
out a
cool.
great deck for Bill Moseley, and I was just like, man, this is great. This is awesome. And I contacted him, and Kevin's a good dude. He's a very busy guy because he's an entrepreneur and does a lot of different things and has a regular job. As I wish some of us, like I wish I had a regular job sometimes. But he was putting out these decks, and they would look so good. And then I just said, man, I would really love to. I have a bunch of artists I work with, and I'd really love to do something different. And Kevin's a good guy, and he said, "Yeah, let's figure something out." And I said, "Well, let's do the double barrel Leatherface because Leatherface you can only do so many chainsaws and hammers and everything else." But I'm like, what could we do that's a little different? And I really love that design that Michael Toth
Hmm
came up with the double barrel shotgun. and the colors and everything else, and it just kind of pops.
Fantastic. Yes.
And then we, and then Kevin said, "Let's get it done."
And it actually
Oh,
glows
so
in the
cool.
dark. I could probably send you a video after this that you could add on to it.
Oh yeah, please do. Awesome. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that.
Yeah, yours glows in the dark as well.
Oh my gosh. Thank God we're talking. Um, so let's see. Anything else that you would add about the designs, Kevin, and well, just creating these skateboards that you've gone into? I can see them all behind you. What has
Yeah,
that been like? And sort of, I know you have a day job. What has
I
it been like
am.
transitioning from that and working on this?
No, I'm a nurse is my real job. 2025 is my 20th anniversary. And in hindsight, I wish I'd worked at the VA, but I guess can't
Hmm.
go back in time.
Well,
But
congratulations.
I wanted to meet Kevin Smith at a con called Astronomicon in Detroit, and I wanted to bring him something that he'd never seen before. So I looked up CLERKS skateboards, and they did not exist. So I made one. I made this one.
Oh my God, that's
Had
awesome.
the entire cast there sign it, including Kevin. And everyone at the con was like, "Holy shit, where did you get that?" And I was like, "I made it." And they're like, "You should make more." And now I have.
And
Yeah,
here we
this
are.
was the very first deck I ever made, this Clerks deck.
That's so cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Now,
Wow. Thank
on the process, Kevin, how do you go about figuring out who you want to do a board for, and what is that process like?
I really just get the con schedule for the entire year and see who's going to be where. And then, due to travel time, I try to converge on the cons who have the most celebrities who I think would be willing to do this. Like William Shatner doesn't need to make $10,000 signing skateboard decks. So I can eliminate some people that way. But it's just people who I enjoy, things that I like. Because if you don't have passion for it, then why even bother doing it?
I know
Mhm.
and I know you got a Sid Haig board, tribute board that's out right now, which is
I do.
awesome.
I have that one right here.
Oh,
We
nice.
made this one with
Yes,
Susie
that's
Haig's
amazing.
his widow, which is pretty cool. This one also glows in the dark, but we have a holographic version as well. Is the whole thing in there?
Yeah.
Mostly, you can see the top.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
So with the
Very
artistic
nice.
process, I have the vision, and I'm thankful enough to have artists who are able to put that on paper. Like this whole my idea of the gun and the muzzle flash and the most of all, fuck you. That was all my like vision. And Toni Vingle is her name. She made it into this, and it turned out pretty spectacular. She's quite
It's
talented.
beautiful.
I actually met her
And
on
what else?
Facebook. Her dad posted a picture of one of her art illustrations, and I messaged him asking him who did it and how I get a hold with him, and it was his daughter. And then so he introduced me to her.
That's fantastic. And you
Not
Yeah,
have a,
to mention, go ahead.
go
Sorry.
ahead, Brett.
No, I was
No,
going to
it's
say,
fine.
not
Go
to
ahead.
mention, you got a new Sleepaway Camp with my co-host Felissa Rose board.
yeah,
Just going
yeah.
to
Is,
ask that.
is it
Yes.
okay if I show that one out too?
Yeah, let's go for it, man.
I have that one here. This one was done by a guy named Diego. He went to art school in America, but he's originally from Cuba. And I found him on Threads, and I messaged an account that he hadn't used, he said, in years, and just happened to one day open it up and see my message and get a hold of me. So this, of course, is the scene that everyone's familiar with Sleepaway
Of
Camp.
course, yes.
We
The big
wanted to do
reveal.
something
Yeah.
different. So we did it in this comic book style with some of the kill scenes. And then I don't know if you ever saw the trailer to the movie, but it starts out with a note saying, "Dear Mom and Dad, I've been at Sleepaway Camp for almost 3 weeks, and I'm getting very scared," which is part from the trailer. And
Yes.
at the bottom,
Yeah.
you have the last scene where it's the aunt telling Felissa, "I've always wanted a little girl."
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
so thank you. So we decided to do this one in the black and white with a little bit of red to highlight it. But I'm very
it's
proud. This was
beautiful.
made by Diego at Euroboro on Instagram. He is also extremely talented. We're actually working on a comic book together.
You'll have to give me the details of these artists. I'll make sure to put it in the description,
Yeah,
and I can flash it across the screen as well. And we'll come back to this, but Kevin, how can folks find you? How can folks look at your boards and even order some of your decks?
it's presidentofastronauts.com. I figured growing up, every kid either wanted to be the president or an astronaut, but
I
imagine
love it.
being the president of astronauts.
Yes, that's a win-win, right? Oh man, that's
Yeah.
so cool. So cool. Well, congratulations. I think you are making
Gosh,
some
thank you. Thank you for
fantastic
the opportunity.
decks and some really nice progress there. And it's been fantastic. It's fantastic to chat with you as well. Let's see. Brett, I do have a couple of questions for you. Why don't we go into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake? As I understand, you were Leatherface for part of that film, and horror fans refer to you as the Lost Leatherface. Can you say a little bit more about that for
Yeah,
our
sure.
viewers?
Well, I got cast as Leatherface, as actors do. I figured out they were going to try to hire a local hire in Texas, from what I understood, which I was just so bummed about because I'm like, they're just going to get some ex-Dallas Cowboy football player who doesn't play anymore, some big bouncer at a door in Texas to play Leatherface. And one day I saw him at a commercial audition. We go to places where they'll have 5 rooms in there, and there'll be Ford in room 1, Burger King in room 2, and then I said TCM, and I called my commercial agent and I said, can you call over there, see if that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and if they haven't cast Leatherface yet, can you see if I could get put on tape? And they hadn't cast it, and they let me come in on the next day and get put on tape, and I guess I made Michael Bay laugh about something, and the next day they called, said you got the gig. So flash forward 2 months before, 2 months later, when we're in Texas filming, and I got heat stroke like on the first full day of shooting. So I do the first kill in the movie, the Kemper kill as we call it. It's the first time you see Leatherface.
Yes.
That's me coming through the house, killing him with the sledgehammer, and then dragging him across the floor and slamming the door like Gunnar Hansen did.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
But when you get like heat exhaustion is really what it is. My muscles in my back tightened up, and so I think I had a day and a half of filming and one full day of filming, and my back
Couldn't
tightened
do
up,
it.
and that was it. And then 3 days later, they brought in Andrew, who did a really good job finishing the movie. And of course, I would have loved to finish the movie and put my spin on everything. But 21 years later, I've come to accept that even being a little part of that franchise, and even just doing one kill in the movie, it's a big honor. And I'm very good friends with
Absolutely.
our director now, Marcus Nispel, and our DP, Daniel Pearl. And I get to hang out with these guys sometimes at conventions, and it's fun. I just had dinner with Daniel Pearl. Now, Daniel Pearl, who was the DP, the guy on the camera, he did the
Mm-hmm.
original 1974 movie, and then came back, and Marcus Nispel, our director for 2003, brought him back in. And
Oh,
Daniel Pearl is an
wow.
amazing guy. You should have him on sometime. The guy's
We'd
done
love
over
to.
400 music videos. He's also won the MTV, the Little Astronaut Award. He's won 2 of
Yeah, yeah,
those.
yeah.
Hot for Teacher, Michael
Oh,
Jackson. The guy
Mm-hmm.
has been behind the camera on some of the most famous music videos that we all grew up with, and very nice guy. So yeah, like I said, I'm very blessed to have been a part of this thing,
Oh,
and got
nice.
to wear the mask even for just one day and one kill, day and a half. So
Yes, yes.
I was gonna say,
Even
so the
just
just
for
folks
with
one
didn't know.
scene, right?
to
The
stick with
folks
the
didn't know that.
astronauts,
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
got Michael Collins, right? No,
Yes,
get through.
yes, yeah. So the folks didn't know that there was another guy that played Leatherface. So when the magazine started writing about it, because I didn't talk about it, I was very embarrassed that I didn't finish the movie, and
Oh, right.
they called me the
Yeah.
Lost Leatherface. So it kind of stuck.
You should get a T-shirt made that says the Lost Leatherface.
We have
That's
them,
so
man.
cool.
We got a
Oh,
few
you
things.
do?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Let's talk. And that's fantastic. Like you said, to be part of the franchise, even just for that one kill and the day and a half, I think that's awesome. Um, and speaking of remakes, you were also in the Crazies. You are
Loved it.
Jesse in this fantastic remake. At least you have two amazing remakes you were in under your belt.
Yes,
And you got to be on the Fangoria cover to promote the Crazies.
that's a big
Um,
deal, right? So as an actor, and if you really are, if you love horror movies, which is why I started acting because I wanted to be in horror movies, to get to
mhm,
cover Fangoria is a big deal. You know,
absolutely.
the guys that I can't think it was if it's Tony at Fangoria liked Robert
Yep.
Hall, who's not with us anymore. Uh, Almost Human kept sending him pictures from the set and from the makeup chairs, and he didn't like anything. Finally, he looked at this one picture of me in the makeup chair, said, "That's the all right. That's the," and then they just edited everything else out of it, and that became the cover of the magazine, which was it's a big deal. It's like it's like an honor. And as a kid that loved Fangoria, huge deal.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you still have copies of that Fangoria?
Of course I do. This is
Lying around?
of course I do. This is the funny thing is I used to hang out at, I would come home from, I still was working bars even in 2010 doing security and bouncing when there was no acting work. And I would come by, and on the way home, I'd stop by this newsstand that was open 24 hours, and I'd hang out with the guy. And I said, "Hey, can you order next month's issue of Fangoria?" He goes, "Yeah, how many you need?" I said, "Give me 50." Well, I forgot they're like $8 a pop. So all of a sudden the guy goes, "Hey man, your 50 Fangorias are," and I'm like, "Holy crap, how much do I owe?" And I was like, "Oh my God." So he let me
Worth
pay
it
it off
though.
in
Oh,
increments. But yeah,
installments. Yeah. Give you a
everybody got
loan.
for Christmas, everybody got a signed copy of that year. So
That's so cool. I hope you have some framed
I
somewhere around your house.
blew the picture up. So I blew the picture up, and I even sent one to the casting director, who's the John Papsadera, who's one of the biggest casting directors in Hollywood for 30 years, and he's a great guy. And I remember I dropped it off, and I said, "I want to give this to John," and they're like, "Oh." And it's the cover, blowing up to a big size portion of me on the cover of Fangoria. So
Yeah, the makeup effects, and it's a real close up, right, of you. I'll grab
yeah,
a picture of it, and I'll show it when I edit this out.
Um,
Um,
can I add?
Go ahead, Kevin. Yeah.
Yeah, when our Bill Moseley deck came out, there were some delays and people were getting rather anxious. And Brett gave me 30 signed pictures of himself of Leatherface that I added to the boxes to kind of temper the mood of the crowd. Because I thought they were going to turn
Oh, who are
crazies on me.
waiting?
But yeah, Brett sent me 30 pictures that he signed, and I was able to add those to random boxes.
Oh, that's
well,
so cool.
our
Go
community
ahead.
is it's large, but it's also very small. If you can help someone out, and Kevin's a good dude who works really hard, and you know, I don't want him to give me a scrub down bath in the hospital, but just in case I'm ever in a hospital he's at, I want to have that guy on my side. And
You want him in your corner for sure.
and he's an entrepreneur. He's hustling and doing his thing. And like I said, he has a full-time, not an easy job, right? Dealing with people and working long shifts. So, and I love his company. I think what he's doing and all the boards and all the people he's getting involved, it's a hustle. He does a good job at it. He's got a good spokesmodel that gets out there and pitches these boards. Not me, Kevin. Who am I talking about?
Merrily,
Yeah.
Batgirl. She is actually sleeping right now after her shift.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yes. Well, Kevin, I have a few more questions for you. So, what other horror boards are on your list? What else would you like to work on? And is it too soon to say?
No, I know we're going to be doing a Kane Hodder. We talked to Judy already. She
Excellent.
also represents Bill Moseley, so he's on board. We're going to do a second Bill Moseley with Chop Top this time. The first one was
Nice.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
Hmm.
We're doing Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith for their stand-up tour, actually, which
Oh,
starts, I
cool.
think it's already started in Boston, but we're going to meet them down in St. Louis, and I designed a deck for their tour.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is kind of
agreed.
like my dream come true.
That's
Kevin
amazing.
Smith, I don't, he's
Um,
been kind of a role model for me.
and to get to meet him, that's
Yeah.
incredible. So I guess I have a question for both of you. You're both horror fans. Have you always been horror fans, and what got you into the horror genre, let's say?
Uh, well, I was like, 8 or 9 years old, and Night of the Living Dead,
Mhm.
Romero's, the 1967 black and white, was a
Yes.
big deal to me. I remember my mom saying, "Oh, be careful watching that," but she let me
Mhm.
watch it. The Twilight Zones, Outer Limits, Night
Absolutely.
Gallery. Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, which I'd love to remake. Just on the title alone, this kind of campy zombie flick
Yep.
that I saw. And, Shockwaves with Peter Cushing. If you've never seen Shockwaves, folks, one of the, Nazi zombies on an island. You can't beat it.
Yes, that's a great one. How about you, Kevin?
I was always more into the sci-fi horror, sci-fi thrillers
Hmm.
like Aliens. I was born in 79. I grew up in the 80s. So those were always like my go-to. Never really the slashers until I got older, but a lot of the science fiction horror.
Speaking of horror, do you have a favorite subgenre? If you had to choose one of horror, so Kevin, probably not slashers.
No, no, mine is definitely the sci-fi.
Sci-fi, yeah. How about you, Brett?
I don't do the subgenres like body horror and all any of that stuff.
Mhm.
I just like horror in general, so it doesn't matter. Even sci-fi, I do think there's a distinction between sci-fi and horror, but besides that,
Yes.
it's all the same to me, and I love it all. Here, I'm going to give you a sleeper, a movie called Stake Land,
Oh,
and
that's a
Stake
good
Land
one.
is a great, fun, different take
Yes.
on vampires,
It's
and
so
the
funny you
same act.
mentioned Stakeland. I just got
Yeah.
a Blu-ray copy of it this week.
Oh man, I love
It's
it.
upstairs. I just got it. Yeah, it's great.
And
Go
then
ahead.
that actor, I think his name's Dominic. I can't think of his. I should know his name. I would love to put him in a movie and act with the guy. He also did another movie called Late Phases, which is werewolves in a
Mm.
retirement community, which is so fun and he's so fun and so good. But yeah, Stakeland Part Two is not bad either. Stakeland Two, but the first one, Danielle Harris and some other folks are in it. Very very sleeper of a movie that's really good.
Excellent.
So I
Yeah,
would have to
I
say like
need
the
to check it
supernatural
out.
horror then on my end. Like I
Mm.
like the supernatural part of it.
Yes. Oh, for
Demons,
sure.
vampires,
Yep.
werewolves.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I like it all too. Maybe the extreme horror isn't my favorite subgenre, but I have seen a lot of those. Um,
I
let's
mean,
see.
rumor has it you are going to be bankrolling a Serbian film too.
Oh, yes, but let's
No, no,
keep that on the DL. No, gosh, now
no,
that's one
no.
movie.
That's one
Not
movie
d- yeah, yeah, not a
I
good
watched it.
rewatch candidate. Mm.
I watched it and then I immediately drove up into the hills and tossed that bootleg DVD that I bought at some con out. And after I wiped my
Yeah.
fingerprints off of it and threw it out the window,
Mm. Smart move.
'cause
I still have it on the
I didn't want
shelves, but
anybody to find that in my house.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, let's not spend any more time on that one. Brett, can you say a little bit about Desert Fiends? You said it's coming out in April. Can you say a
Yeah,
little bit about your role with and involvement with
yeah,
that film?
sure. Sean C. Phillips, Nicole Vegas, Sean's the director, and him and his brother write the movie and write the scripts.
Mhm.
And it's kind of a Hills Have Eyes take. And I play Papa, one of the main mutants, and was fun filming. And Sean has progressively, as a director, has gotten better and better and better, and he's a Indiegogo guy, right? He raises money
Mhm.
on his own to make these movies.
Yes.
And I think just over maybe 10 years of doing them, I think he's been doing it about 10 years. He's getting better. He's getting better actors, getting better crew. Um, and I kept seeing his stuff all the time, and I sent him a message saying I'd love to be a part of one of your movies. We got to do the
Mhm.
Desert Fiends, and Eric Yoder,
Cool.
who's a guy who does the special effects, is really good. So he's doing good things. Gravitas Ventures picked up the film, so it'd be distributed through Gravitas, which is a big plus. April 7th that comes out, and then also April 7th we start filming Desert Fiends 2. So I'll be back up in
Yes.
Vegas filming. It's a Michael Bailey Smith kind of, if you know Michael Bailey Smith, who was in the remakes of The Hills Have Eyes, and I play this guy Papa, and it's fun because Shawn lets me do a lot of improv and lets me have fun with the parts, and just excited because there's some really good actors that are going to be in part 2, and Doug Tate, who's a good friend of mine from Freddy vs. Jason, and he's the Jack Link Sasquatch. If you ever see those commercials, that's my buddy Doug Tate.
Oh yes, I met him at a convention. I know exactly who you're talking
Yeah, so
about.
it's just a lot of cool people involved in his projects, and we did another movie called Skate to Hell, which they're finishing editing right now, and hopefully Gravitas picks that up as well.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to check them out. And I did hear about Desert Fiends too, so that's very exciting. Um, let's see. I have sort of a kind of fun general question for you both. If there was someone in the movie industry that you could sit down with and have a beer or coffee, whatever you choose, who would that be and why? And they could be alive or dead.
Go ahead, Kevin. I'll let you go. Take it first.
I've actually thought about this quite a bit, and my
Oh,
answer,
good. I didn't even give
I
you a
don't
heads up.
know if it's going to be humorous but I would really love to meet Stephen Merchant. I know he's not a horror guy. He could be the exact opposite of a horror guy, but just something about Stephen Merchant, I think is just hilarious. I think it's just his nervousness, I think, is my nervousness, maybe. You weren't
That would
expecting
be
that
fun.
answer, were you? Stephen Merchant.
I was not. No, but that's why I like to ask that question.
Now people are going to Google now who's Stephen Merchant. Yes, yeah, that's awesome. Stephen, that would be fun. That's tough. I mean, I would love to probably sit down with George Romero. He passed away, and chat with him
For
about
sure.
zombies. I did a movie. My first movie I ever did was with Robin Williams called Bicentennial Man. He was
Oh,
very
yeah.
nice, such a nice guy. I'd love to, if I could sit down for, an hour and BS with him. I'd love to see how a guy, because, guys like that, their mind works so much faster than us. Their mind is going 1,000 miles an hour more than we can comprehend. And I just love to sit down with a guy like that and be able to BS with him for about an hour and chat about things.
Yes. Oh, great choice. Great choices for you both.
Yeah.
I think people are gonna have to Google Stephen Merchant. He's not that big of a household name.
I don't know. Some might.
Or you? Will you have to Google him?
No, I mean, I know who he is. I'd sit down with Stephen Merchant.
I think it's a good choice. Let's see. Do you have any favorite movies of 2024? Any that come to mind that you saw last year?
Wow. Well, I mean, I just watched The Substance,
Yes, that
which
was great.
I just watched that too 2 days ago.
And then I also watched Nosferatu,
Also good.
which I kept falling asleep in. Good actors. It just Nosferatu it was a grind, and I couldn't get through it. The Substance, on the other hand,
Wow,
Demi Moore,
that was so
Margaret
good.
Qualley, Dennis Quaid is great in it, but Margaret Qualley, who plays the better version of Demi Moore, you'll have to watch the movie to understand that, is so good and such a scene stealer. The movie's great, and I think Demi Moore did a wonderful job as not coming out of retirement, but coming back to the forefront in a big movie, and she's probably going to win the Academy Award for it. So I like it. The last 20 minutes were the movie's 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I'll be honest, the last 20 minutes kind of went a little horror cheese for me, a little and
trauma
I was like,
feel, right? Yeah,
very trauma feel. Or what's the one with the guy in the lawnmower? And is it with the blood? New England, not New England, New Zealand.
Dead Alive, right?
Dead Alive, very Dead Alive with the blood splurting everywhere, all over the place. But other than that, great movie. That female director did a tremendous job. I can't think of her. I can't pronounce her name, so I'm not even going to try. But yeah,
Farjad, I think. She's French. She did Revenge too.
yes, she's
That's
French.
another great film. Yeah, awesome.
What
I
was her
love
other
that one
movie?
too. Revenge, I think in
Oh yeah,
2018. The Shutter
yeah.
film,
So
right?
I love Shutter. You know, we're looking at our new podcast, me and Phyllis, and we're gonna take some meetings, and hopefully Shutter's going to be one of those meetings, and maybe Tubi. So I think that we have, Phyllis is amazing and very energetic, and just everybody loves
Yes.
her, and the kindest soul, the nicest person in the world. And I'm very lucky to be doing something with her. And I think that we're shooting for, to get our show on quickly to a network, whether it's Shutter or, Screenbox or something like that, or Tubi.
Cool.
So
Oh,
we
that's
got a
very
few
exciting.
meetings set
Yeah.
up. Yeah, so
Yeah. Oh,
it's
awesome. Good luck with that.
yeah, it's exciting. Thank you.
Let's see, Kevin, do you have a favorite movie from last year?
I also did like The Substance. I just watched it a couple days ago. But Stream was also a good movie. Was that
Yes.
2024? And again, and
I think so. Yeah.
I, for me, like this isn't my world. I'm a nurse who has kind of tiptoed my way into meeting these people. So to see them now on the screen, now that I have met them, it makes it
Mhm.
more surreal for me. Like I know Dave Sheridan, I know Felissa Rose now, I know Brett Wagner, and like now they're in my living room. It's different.
Yeah,
Surreal's a good
yeah.
way to describe it. Yeah.
But it is.
Well,
Look at when I go do conventions, right? And I get to meet these people that I've been fans of since I was a kid. I mean, it's, saying Ken Foree, for God's sakes. I mean, Dawn of the Dead, my favorite movie of all
Right.
time. And I get to go do conventions with Ken Foree and always say hello to him in the morning. Uh, you know, uh,
Hmm.
Pinhead, Doug Bradley.
Yes.
I've done a show. I got this, Doug will, I mean, I shouldn't tell this, but Doug will go have breakfast in the morning. And I got to sit down with him and have breakfast. And we just said hello. How are you? Hey, Doug. Hey, doing good. Didn't say anything else, but I got to sit there and eat with Doug Bradley at his table. So
Mm.
I want to go back to some movies. We were talking 2024. I love Stream.
Yes.
Stream was
Very
a
good.
good movie, and of course, I love Terrifier.
Hmm.
I love Terrifier 3. I do love 2. I think those, Damien Leone. I think
Yep.
you're going to see over the next couple of years. He's going to be in the game for a long time, and he does a lot of great work. And David Howard Thornton, obviously, as an actor, is tremendous, and it
Yes.
brings Art the Clown to life. And yeah, those guys are putting out some good stuff. I'm excited to see what comes out
Hmm.
next from Damien, or the guys from the Stream are great. And yeah, I Stream 2 probably. I'm sure we're going to get one.
oh,
Oh, yes.
Hint,
absolutely.
We
hint.
will.
Me
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Kevin
Yeah.
would like to be in it. We'd love to be in it.
Well, I interviewed Marcus Slabine, who worked on Stream and Terrifier 2 and 3. So I can always reach out to him. I don't know if he'll tell me anything, but I can ask. Um,
Like the last HorrorCon that was here in Chicago, I drank coffee with Bill Moseley that I bought and brought to him in his hotel room. That's like
wow.
for a kid growing up on horror and like a huge House of a Thousand Corpses, man. Like that is my genre of horror. Just the
Hmm.
psychoticness, the psychotic horror. I don't know if there's a name for it, but that's a shit that I like. So
Well,
to
you
be able
just
to
made
Yeah.
it.
drink
You just
coffee
made it.
with Bill Moseley, and then
There you
Ray
go.
Park was there, and I hugged Darth Maul. I mean, I know he's not Darth, but it was
Oh, yeah,
just
for
as a
sure, though.
kid, I hugged Darth Maul. It was fucking incredible.
Yes, that's amazing. I mean, I went to a convention a year or two ago, and I met the Nightmare on Elm Street cast, the first one. So Heather Langenkamp, um, Amanda Wyss, Robert Englund was there. I didn't wait in line for hours, but it was like my childhood right there to see them all in the same room.
Oh,
It was unbelievable. Um,
that
anyway, it seems like we could go on and on, but go ahead, Kevin.
in the future we are actually going to do a final girls deck line. So each deck will be like Heather Langenkamp,
Oh,
Danielle
cool.
Harris, Melissa Rose, And
Wow.
then if you put the
That's
decks
amazing.
together, this is the plan. If you put the decks together, it will make a larger image. So like a triptych.
Yes.
So
Oh, that's so cool. Like a Vanity Fair
that is
cover
our
or something,
goal.
something crazy like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, that's really cool. You'll have to keep me updated on progress with that.
Hey, so
Uh,
so Kevin, if
yeah.
folks want to get these decks, if they because there's some really good, there's some some stuff that you've had out before and some stuff that's brand new. It's right now. Where would they go to see some of these decks and the website and everything else?
Oh, it's www.presidentofastronauts.com. Very simple. Presidentofastronauts.com.
Yes, you
This
can't
is the
say it enough.
one.
And I'm going to flash it on the screen. So, yes, oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
The double barrel Leatherface.
Yes, glow in the dark,
And
folks.
Glows
Glow
in the
in
yeah,
the
dark.
dark.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
As soon
listen,
as we're done here, I'm going to go test out the glow in the
if
dark
So you
portion.
need to
if
let
you
it absorb some light first. Like I always, and then shut the lights off. It's got to
Of
if
like
you
course,
get
yes.
absorb light.
if
Yeah,
you get
sure.
that board, folks, you order that board and you see me at a convention, just come up and get it signed. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, what
Awesome.
conventions will you be at? Well, now that we're talking about it,
Oh
can
my
you
gosh,
can you
there's so
share?
many. El Paso Horror Con's coming up. Of course, I'm going to be
Evansville.
Evansville,
Yeah.
Indiana. Are you coming?
I am. I'm making that drive.
Oh, nice. So
Oh,
we'll be in
cool.
Evansville, Indiana.
Milwaukee Horror
March.
Con.
Which one?
Milwaukee Horror Con.
Oh, Milwaukee Horror Con. How can I forget our mutual friend CJ Vecchio? Yeah, brand new
Mhm.
Milwaukee Horror Con. There are no horror conventions in Milwaukee, so a friend of ours decided he also does the Chicago Horror
Awesome.
Film Festival, and so Milwaukee's going to have one. But yeah, those are two. I'm really excited. This month is El Paso Horror Con. Then we get into,
Cool.
like we said, we get into Evansville, Indiana, Evansville Horror Con, which has got a huge lineup. Smoky Mountain Terror later on this year.
Yeah.
Huge. I mean,
Kingsport.
there's so many. There's so
Are you
many to
coming?
do. Yeah.
Are you coming to Massachusetts at all that you know? Noah?
I'm trying. I'm working on my Massachusetts gig to get up there. There's only a couple that
Mhm.
do. There's only two that that I know of
It's
that do stuff
two.
up there.
Yeah. Yeah. We got
So
Terracon and Silver Scream, usually in
yeah.
September.
Oh gosh, there's another one. I can't think of it.
Some
Uh,
smaller ones. Those are the big ones they have.
Monster Expo. Monster. Well, anyways,
Uh, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Well, if you do come to Massachusetts, let me know because that's where I
I
live.
will. I will.
Let's see. So I want to do our this or that section because it's kind of
Yeah.
fun. Usually, basically, I just throw out two things and you pick one or the other. No pressure. There's no right or wrong answer. Um, the Hewitt family or the Sawyer family?
Sawyer.
Texas
Sawyer.
Chainsaw
I'm going to go
Massacre.
Sawyer
So,
too.
yeah, from the first. Okay. Horror novel or a horror anthology?
I'll go anthology.
I like
Yeah,
that. I'll go with anthology as well.
Yeah, like Clive Barker. Stephen King has some great anthologies.
Yeah.
Clive Barker's Book of Blood. Let's see,
I got
blueberry
that right
pancakes
here.
or scrambled eggs?
We have the Book of Blood right here, signed by Clive
Oh,
Barker.
oh, that's so
Whoa!
cool.
Yeah.
And I just rewatched John Harrison's adaptation of the Framing story, The Book of Blood.
That's a
So
funny story, but can you see this deck back here? My Stabby Road. Can you see it?
I
Should
do,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yep.
So this was the second deck I made, not knowing that Clive Barker was going to be the headliner there. And of course, there's no Hellraiser characters in here, but he still signed it for me. And then Malcolm McDowell and Tyler Main signed over the Leatherface.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, but Clive Barker signed
So
it right
it's
there for me.
yeah, so who is it? Freddie, Michael,
Yeah,
Pennywise, and
Jason,
Jason?
Freddy, Michael, and Pennywise. We're gonna actually
Cool.
release a whole set of these. One that's just all clowns. Ones with different ones. It's the Hellraiser and the Cenobites, like Pinhead and the Cenobites. So we're gonna like release different versions of this Stabby Road deck.
With different horror icons. I love it.
Yeah. Because we
That's
don't want
awesome.
people to have to buy a different deck for every one of their characters and get it signed. If they could buy one deck and get it signed by multiple people, it's a lot more cost effective for them. And we really want to do this for the people. Like
For the
I'm a
fans.
collector. I
Yep.
collect things, and I would rather, I want to help people out that way.
Yes. Me too. Um, I'm a fan, man, and as you can see, I'm a collector as well. Uh, let's see, blueberry pancakes or scrambled eggs?
Oh,
Scrambled
blueberry.
eggs.
Guess it depends if you're on a low carb diet or not. Um, Romero's Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead?
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead, so good. Art the Clown or Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Oh,
I've actually seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
you haven't seen it?
You've
No,
never seen it?
never.
Oh
But
my
who's gonna be the
gosh.
clowns on our Stabby Road? Because I needed four. So it was gonna be Pennywise, Art, Captain Spaulding, and I was gonna choose one of the clowns from Killer Clowns Outer Space. So I had to
Oh,
watch it.
Yeah, you've
you
got to
gotta
watch it.
watch
It's
it.
so good.
Grant Kramer and then a whole
Yeah.
bunch of them, and a whole bunch of my buddies are the
Mhm.
clowns that are in that movie. Gosh, that's tough. That's really tough. Art the Clown or Killer Clowns.
They
All right.
both,
Well,
I guess.
hopefully the guys that I've already plugged their movie, but I got to go with Killer Clowns.
Killer Clowns. Okay, there you go. In space or underwater horror movies?
Space.
Yeah, I go space.
Space, yeah. Let's see. Mountain bike through the woods or a Harley road trip?
Oh, that's a little simple for me. I'm going to go get
I
on the
know, I know.
Harley.
I have never been on a motorcycle.
Oh, never?
Kevin looks like the
Never.
energetic type of guy that would get on the mountain bike and go cruising around, eating mushrooms.
That I would do that, yes.
Yes, yes. A long weekend in the woods. Zombies or werewolves? Just a few
Zombies.
more.
Zombies.
Let's see. Amityville Horror or The Shining?
Shining.
Shining.
Yeah.
The made-for-TV movie of that was actually very incredible. The Stephen King made-for-TV one that was like 6 hours long.
Yes, with Rebecca De Mornay and
And the guy from Wings, I don't know what.
the guy from Steven Weber, right? Is that his name?
Yeah,
Steven
yeah,
Weber,
I
yes.
think. Yeah. That
yeah.
was good. It was too bad they couldn't curse, though. That was my only, from what I remember, that was my only problem with it.
Yeah, because it was on network
It
television.
was a television, of course,
Yeah.
yes. Lastly, Jaws or Halloween 78?
Halloween 78.
I'm going to go with Jaws.
Jaws. Okay, fair enough.
I mean, look at
Jaws.
Halloween 78 is a huge impact. It's
Mhm.
probably it's a top 5 horror film of all time. I mean, in my
Yes.
opinion, it's a top 5. If you don't have it in the top 5, I mean, and however, Jaws. Oh my God! Just the Academy Award winners in that movie and the whole story, and I mean, it's such a perfect. They're both perfect movies. However, Jaws
course.
for the time I was a kid, and that was a big deal, and I couldn't get in the water for 6 months.
And Jaws, you
Yes.
can't really recreate it. You can't
No.
recreate that original.
hmm hmm The stars aligned there. I mean, arguably for both films, I think the stars aligned. I should have added that, or I have to add that Halloween is my favorite film, and my co-host who couldn't be here today, Jaws is his favorite film, and that's why we always ask. And most pick Jaws, but Kevin, I'm glad you picked Halloween.
Very nice, Kevin.
Only a few have. Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. This has been amazing. Kevin, congratulations on President of Astronauts. I guess my last question for you both is, how can folks find you on social media?
Go ahead, Kev.
I am at President of Astronauts. Pretty simple, President of Astronauts.
All over the place. Yeah, Instagram. Get a hold of them. Take a look
Yeah.
at the stuff. Presidentofastronauts.com. Take a look at those boards. As I said, get yourself a double barrel shotgun by Michael Toth, one of the great artists. And if you can look at when you go on his website, and you can see all the different artists that Kevin uses. There's tons of all different styles, just amazing artwork, which I think is not just the boards and maybe getting some of the actors to sign them, but the artwork is so amazing. And as I get older, I really appreciate that stuff. The Big Schwag, Brett Wagner, at The Big Schwag on Instagram, and now with our new YouTube podcast, Gosh, killing time experience with Felissa Rose. So we're pretty easy to find.
Can
Excellent.
I add real quick? Thank you
Yeah,
for mentioning our artist, Brett, because we don't just pay them for one time for their work. Every deck that they sell, that we sell with their artwork, they get a portion of that deck. $7 per deck we sell.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
we
awesome.
wanted, like, I want to give back to everybody. Like, I do fine as a nurse. This is my hobby. This is fun.
Yeah. Oh, and you're doing a fantastic job with it. Keep me updated on your future decks, any other collabs. Yeah, let's talk. And thank you
Awesome.
both
Thank you,
for
guys. Thank
coming
you
on.
both. Thank you, Brett.
Yes, this has been
Thank you.
amazing. Let's see. If you are watching, like and subscribe because it helps our channel. And thank you so much for joining today.
Awesome.
Right, bye, everyone.
Bye.